Welcome to another How to Succeed podcast, the show that helps you get to the top and stay there. I'm your host, Mike Montague, Director of Community Engagement at Sandler. And my guest this week is Michele McManamon. She is co-founder and CEO of Operation New Uniform, and she is a former Sandler trainer and owner of a Sandler business as well. But we're going to talk with her about how to succeed at finding a new uniform. What that means is we're going to be talking about what happens when you have to relocate, if you're coming out of the military, if you've taken a long break for parenthood or something else. Anytime you have to go and make a career change or a life change, what happens then? We're going to find out. The following podcast is copyrighted by Sandler Systems, Inc. and protected by U.S. copyright laws. Sandler is the worldwide leader in sales, management, and customer service training. You can subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening to it right now, or check out our additional resources at sandler.com. Now, it's time for How to Succeed at Finding a New Uniform with Michele McManamon from Operation New Uniform, and they are found at onuvets.org. Here we go. Michele, welcome back to the podcast. Tell me a little bit about finding a new uniform, how you got into this, and what we're talking about today.
Hey, Mike, so good to be here again. Thanks for having me on your show. Operation New Uniform and finding a new uniform, how that came about was as simple as just bringing someone into our program, our Sandler training program, to scholar them through, to give them an opportunity to get a new career. So the name of the organization came from simply helping a veteran take off their uniform that they had in the military and putting on a new one, which was a business suit. We don't take business suits, thank you very much, but we do help with the mindset stuff that we talk about in Sandler.
I like that. Yeah, it's not actually about the clothes you wear, and I feel like everybody is dressing more casually these days post-pandemic. But I think it's interesting and helpful for our audience because everybody, kind of goes through a reset time in their life, and they can be really hard challenges. So what do you feel like are maybe the top 1 to 3 things that vets face, or anybody that's trying to find a new career? Maybe your spouse or partner got a big new job, and now you have to move states and find a new job and a new uniform. What are some of the top challenges here?
Yeah, so, I think Sandler terms, I think the top challenges is really attitude, is having the confidence to be able to speak to a resume that might have some gaps in them. If you think if you're a spouse that has not done all those moves or has done all those moves with your partner or with your spouse or whatever, whether it's through the military or whether it's through, a career change, there's a lot of stuff in there that you don't even realize that's going on. That, you may have been volunteering for years at different organizations, and that's counted on a resume these days as experience versus, trying to get the education just right, to have the, past experience at a corporation just right. Those things can evolve. You can massage those things, and people are willing to train. If you have a good attitude, people want to hire you. If you don't have the exact skills, they can train all that part. So understanding that dynamic is really important.
Yeah, I feel like much of it is confidence here. And I think whether it's parenthood or the military or even just another career path, people forget that they're building a lot of skills along the way, and they're doing things that other people aren't doing, which is what becomes valuable in the workforce. And then I know, just based on what Sandler teaches too, a lot of it comes down to communication skills and teamwork and other things about being a good employee. A lot of those things are stuff that you can't train somebody with a college degree or experience on very easily.
Sure.
But you can teach the specific technical skills or whatever you need, and somebody that maybe isn't 100% experienced with the technical aspects of the job.
Right. So think about this. I mean, we know what Sandler training is: attitude, behavior, and then technique. We're not going to teach anybody technique till we can get your head straight first. So once we work on that and figure out your identity is solid here, your self-image, your self-esteem, your self-concept, and your self-worth is solid, then we're not worried about those roles so much. Because, whether you served in the military or whether you've been in corporate America, whether you've been let go or whether, something in the world changed what you were doing. Professional athletes I know struggle with, or any kind of athlete, taking off that uniform. it's an identity crisis. So if you can get that part, which we train and we help really focus on in the beginning of any of our training, focus on just getting your head straight, your attitude strong, feeling good, self-affirmations, knowing and feeling that you should be hanging around good, positive people, and turn off the news. My goodness, I don't care what station you listen to. None of it's good. None of it's going to make you happy. And none of it is going to get you motivated to get a career. So my suggestion is get your attitude straight. And we talk about behaviors, what those look like, and how to make sure that you're doing the right behaviors in order to get that career. And those behaviors can be just as simple as LinkedIn, making sure your LinkedIn profile looks good, making sure that you have it set up properly and set up professionally to get that career, and make sure you have good mentors, people around you that want to help you succeed. And, you know, I think that's one of the most important things, whether you have a Sandler trainer or whether you have a coach or a mentor or a friend, make sure they understand your goals, make sure they're SMART goals. You know, we talk about that a lot in Sandler. They're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. And make sure while you're doing all of that, that you're having fun, because this can be a really hard process. It could make you scared. It could make you feel like, oh my gosh, you know, things are not going right. And with that, we just have to encourage you to keep going and be strong through this process.
Yeah, I think that's awesome and a perfect setup as a Sandler trainer to our behavior triangle. But before I do that, I'm going to circle back to one other thing, because it occurs to me that we're on a sales training podcast and you're a former sales trainer for Sandler. Most people end up in a job that is sales or sales related in customer success or customer service or other things. Is there an attitude you feel like they need to bring to a sales profession, if that's their new uniform that they're putting on, a salesperson, and they're having trouble connecting themselves and identifying as a salesperson? I know a lot of people struggle with that when it's their first sales role. They're like, I don't want to be that sleazy, pushy, you know, salesperson that we all hate. And you're like, yeah, nobody does. How about being a good salesperson? So what are your thoughts there?
Oh my gosh, I love that. And you know, it's funny because I train veterans all day, every day about having just that. When I tell them I'm teaching them a sales training program, a technique that is going to be sales related, they're immediately like, oh, I don't want to be in sales. You know, that's not my goal. But what we do is we help them understand that it's really about communicating and listening and not speaking. And especially for whether it's our veterans or whether you've been in the industry for a long time, when you have those buzzwords and those acronyms and you've got that other way of talking that only your cool people at your place remembers or understands, the rest of the world doesn't get that. So everybody else feels not okay, right? So we got to work on, let's get rid of all that. I mean, it was great while you were there, but now let's have that new attitude, that new behavior where we're going to speak their language. We're going to help people understand that when we're communicating, it's about them, not about us. Sound fair?
I love that. I think that's great. Now let's go back to behavior, which is, you talked about setting some goals for this and some of the actions that we can take. I feel like getting a new uniform does require a little bit of a plan here. And usually opportunity doesn't knock. You have to kind of build the door first. So let's talk about what that is. What are some of the actions people can take if they're looking to find a new uniform?
So if you're relating, or if you're asking about our veteran community, if you're a veteran and you're listening to this, or you know a veteran, or you know a spouse of a veteran that may be struggling to find that perfect career, have them get a hold of us. We'd be happy to have a conversation with them and just talk about how this program might help them. But if you're not, if you're someone that's out there just maybe struggling, you're frustrated with trying to find a career, that place that you can get excited about, not a job, that's a whole different thing. Anybody can get a job, but let's talk about a career. Think about doing some simple steps, some little things that can just start to get you off of that, woe is me, nobody's listening to me, my resume is not going anywhere. And resume, folks, you know, I got to be honest with you, resume is good to have, but it's not the end all to be all. If you don't have a network, if you're not networking and going out to chamber events or business journal events or a networking event, pick one, anyone, and creating those friendships and those relationships, you're not doing this thing right. because nobody, I promise you, they're not going to hire you by your resume. It's not the thing. You need an introduction from Mike. You need an introduction from me. You need an introduction from somebody in your community that trusts you, knows you, believes in you, and thinks that you can do a great job. That's what I think to start.
I mean, that's huge advice. I feel like in sales and in life, a lot of people think that responding to that RFP or submitting your uniform to your resume to a job application is what's going to get you the job. And in my career, I'm trying to think of one really that I submitted I've never had less than 2 jobs. So I've had a lot of jobs, but I think all of them came from a previous relationship or somebody that I met outside of that first. I can't think of one where I applied with just a resume and got the job. So that's huge. I think taking those actions to, again, build the door for opportunity to knock on. So once you get those structures, you got a really tight network of people that want to support you. That's a solid frame to start from. And then you can go out and start doing some of those other things. And it does help to have a way to professionally present yourself, whether that's LinkedIn or a resume or whatever. That's great for that credibility when somebody asks for it, but that's not really helpful. It's sort of like a business card or a sales brochure. It's not helpful until somebody asks for it. Really.
That's correct. That's correct.
Anything else come to mind as far as behaviors and things we should be doing in order to land that new gig?
Think outside the box. You know, when you are looking at that resume, don't be hard on yourself if there are gaps, and think about things that you've done in your lifetime that have really helped to just mold who you are. People again want somebody with good character, someone that is responsible, someone that shows up. That's a struggle these days. Someone that's willing to work, someone that feels good and brings the energy to the place. They don't want somebody with an emotional intelligence, of a 3. They want someone that can come in and show up and say, you know what, I might have the perfect resume that fits this role, but I can tell you what I am going to do. So, don't be afraid to be that one that's going to stand up and be different. People are looking for that.
Absolutely. I think you hit on 2 huge things for me. When I speak to young kids in college trying to find their first job, I always tell them that, they have no experience either and nothing on their resume, but there's nothing stopping you from doing the job right now. You can work for free, find an internship. You can start a podcast and start interviewing people in the profession. You can start making stuff. You can start doing things in the job that you want. And we always have that line. We have the Sandler rule, fake it till you make it kind of thing. And I think there's something there. But for me, it's not about faking it. That sounds authentic. I feel like it's doing it until you can get paid to do it for free. So I've never turned down a chance to be on a microphone, as you can all listen to today. And this podcast is free. But by doing this, I've interviewed over 500 people that are those connections that can introduce me to other opportunities. And people can see, I have this huge back catalog of stuff that I've recorded now that I can show to other people. And I think there's always that opportunity for anybody, if you want to get into something, is just find that first baby step and start doing it, and you'll start getting momentum there. The second thing you said at the end, which I thought was so great, is a lot of people think by fitting in or being what everyone thinks the job should have, like that stereotypical salesperson, or the polished resume, or fast talking, business card slinging, suit wearing professional, that will make you stand out. But that is counterintuitive, right? You can't stand out by looking what everybody else looks like. By being an individual, by bringing unique, by bringing this one-of-a-kind life experience that only you have, and highlighting that separates you from all the other applicants. So I think that's really takes us here to technique, and I want to get into how we do that. But I think that's some people try to hide their military experience, or they try and hide their background, that they have children or have been out of it. And I think that's doing themselves a disservice. I would say lean into that and highlight it. And if people don't like it, that's not the right job for you anyway.
Right. What my gosh, 100%. I mean, I absolutely agree. And especially with our veteran community that leave off their veteran service time off of their resumes because they are afraid that someone's going to look at it the wrong way. And we highly encourage that you put that down, because the skill set that comes with that, I mean, the leadership skills, the tenacity, the, go out and do it kind of thing. And I can prepare for just about anything without, on a minute's notice. They get put into a position and say, here you go. You might not know what the heck you're doing, but you're going to figure it out. So, I mean, those qualities in somebody, people are looking for it. I get calls every day, and I'm not exaggerating, or an email. I want to hire veterans. How do I do it? What do I need to do? So it's pretty incredible. There are skills and talents and just things that you have inside you that you don't even know you have. So ask your best friend, ask somebody around you, say, what are some of the qualities you see in me that I don't even see in myself? Write them down, believe them, understand them. I mean, half of the battle is right here, right? The other half is in your heart. Because if you don't believe what's going on in here, you got to know that it's going on in your heart and say, you know what, I am good enough. And Mike, I'll tell you a really quick story. When we moved to Jacksonville from Baltimore, we moved down here. We didn't know anybody, and we opened up a business. It's like, how do you do that? Not knowing anybody in town. Join the chamber, join the business journal, join, whatever networking event I could possibly join. And the one thing I really wanted to do is somebody asked me to volunteer at the Players, the golf tournament down here. And they said, I would love for you to end up being in the leadership role, be a red coat one day. I'm like, a red coat? What's that? And how am I going to be a red coat? I don't know anybody here. And I'm like, that was silly. Don't even think like that. And sure enough, working hard, showing up, being there at the tournament at 5 a.m, not leaving until 9:30 at night, day in, day out, and wanting to make sure that people saw me for who I am, which is a hard worker, and that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. So in 2016, I became a red coat. It took a lot to get there, but it's something that I feel really passionate about, that I didn't need an education to do that. I didn't need experience or know how to play golf, because I'm a horrible golf player. I didn't need all that to do this. And it was something that meant a lot to me. We give a lot back to charities. That's important to me. What's important to you, and figure it out, and then go and do it.
We've covered a lot of, I love that. Perfect. And we've covered a lot of techniques, I think, along the way, but anything that you want to highlight as far as a technique, a tool, a hack, or anything that people could use in order to find that new uniform?
Yeah, just get your 30-second commercial down and stop talking about yourself. I think, understanding what a 30-second commercial is really about. And it's about that person you're talking to. It's about getting them to talk. And it's about just getting your point across to who you are. If you're in a transition, let them know. You never know who you're talking to. And if you can just mention, hey, I'm Michelle, I'm a transitioning veteran, or hi, I'm Michelle, I am transitioning from one role into another. Who do you know that might be interested in someone with the skills that I have? Just that simple little thing, I think, is a great technique to get you started.
I love what you said about focusing on them too. I think the better you can articulate the opportunity you're looking for, the more people can make that connection. Sometimes people make this counterintuitive thing again, where they're like, I'm open to any opportunity.
Right.
Nobody thinks of any opportunity. Nothing comes to mind. But if you say, I'm specifically looking to work in a startup IT firm in the Kansas City metropolitan area with less than 50 employees, people go, oh, well, I know a guy that just started one, and something comes to mind because it's specific. So again, avoid that trap of becoming too general. When you're describing the opportunity you want, be as specific as possible in the job that you actually want. So you get introductions to what you want, and not a whole bunch of jobs and effort and applying and interviewing for things that you don't even want by the time that you get there. That's huge.
So well said. Absolutely.
All right, then instead of our bio section here this time, because I've interviewed you before and I'm very familiar, everybody else can go to onuvets.org and learn more about Operation New Uniform and Michele McManamon, the co-founder and CEO. But I wanted to ask you specifically about ONU and give you some time here to highlight what you're doing, and if people know somebody that would be a good fit for your program, or they want to help out and help maybe sponsor or contribute to this program, what it's all about, and who the people are you're looking to serve, or either help them help a business serve this community as well.
Thanks, Mike. And it's not specific to community. We train our veterans anywhere around the country. I guess around the world, if you want to say that. But right now, around the country, we have a hybrid format. Our veterans can come to us in our classroom style, or we have them in electronically or whatever this is called when you do it virtually. So we have our veterans in both of those ways. Just so you know, our veterans don't pay a dime to come through our program, and we are just blessed and honored to be able to serve in this way. Also, our business community, I encourage you, if you want to hire amazing veterans, please get a hold of us. Go to our website, contact me. I'll make sure you get to the right person to see who is in our alumni that's looking for a great career. If you're a great business owner or a company, we'd love to connect with you. And if you want to help us help more veterans, please come talk to me, get a hold of me somehow. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you on how you can donate to ONU to put the next veteran in the program. And then finally, I don't care who you are welcome to join our loyalty brigade. It's a part of our program that can be as little as $10 a month to hundreds of dollars a month, whatever's in your heart, whatever you feel like you want to help our veteran community and their spouses get careers. Please join us. That's back at our website at onuvets.org. We would love to have you join our family.
I love that. And you were joking before you came on. You don't charge veterans to go through the program, and you don't charge businesses to hire veterans. So your business model is to not charge anybody anything, which means you do need some help from that third bucket of people, which is great.
We do. But thank you. God provides, and it's awesome. We love to be able to do what we're doing. And by the way, all of our material, our copywritten material, is donated by Sandler Training. So we get to teach them this amazing, amazing system without them having to pay a dime for it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. Obviously, Sandler is proud to sponsor this. We've been doing it for years now, and so great to do our part to help out. But I want to give everybody else one more shot at it. If they're a Sandler client and they've been listening to this for a long time, they love Sandler, they would love to provide that opportunity to sponsor a vet to go through the program, or to even just contribute in some way of hiring. Or I know you have some creative opportunities too. You've done golf tournaments, as you mentioned, and other things. What's maybe a creative way or a favorite way that you like to have businesses help out that just want an opportunity and maybe don't have an open position?
Yeah, they could just give. That's creative now. We have our Heroes Gala in this December, and our Heroes Gala, we have Lieutenant Colonel Alan West as our guest speaker. Our MC is Brian Kilmeade from Fox News. And then we have Senator Aaron Bean, who I think now is a congressman, and he does our auction. If you've never seen him, he's hysterical. If you're in the Northeast Florida area or not, please come Sawgrass Marriott. I have a great rate for you to stay if you want to hear these great speakers. But it's just going to be an incredible gala, wonderful event that we're going to have just a lot of fun and get to hear some amazing stories about our veterans, one in particular and his wife that have both gone through our program. He went through the regular traditional veteran program. She went through the spouse program and how it changed their lives. So I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. It sounds like a great event and a super great time to help out our veterans find a new uniform. So let's wrap it up for everybody. Based on how to succeed at finding a new uniform, what is one attitude you would like people to have?
Positive. Just get out of the funk and get up and do it. There's so much to live for. There's so much to do. Just get up and do it.
One behavior or action item you would like people to take?
Join a networking group, get involved in your community, volunteer at a favorite charity.
And the best tool, tip, hack, or tactic we can use?
30-second commercial. Get her done. Get a good one. Make sure you make it about the other person, not about yourself as much. Sandler has a great template. I'm sure you can find that online or talk to a Sandler trainer. They'd love to help you.
Perfect. Once again, that's Michele McManamon. She is CEO and co-founder of Operation New Uniform. Find them at ONU Vets, VETS.org, and contribute any way you can, or get the help that you need to find your new uniform. Don't be shy about reaching out. That's what we're all here for, and that's what we're trying to do. So whether that's your Sandler trainer or Michele over there at Operation New Uniform, ask for help if you need it. We are happy to help. For more information on Sandler, you can get any of our free resources at Sandler.com. As always, send this podcast to somebody that you needs to hear it, especially if you know any vets in your network or your family. And leave us a review. Thanks for listening. And whatever you are, be a good one. Until next time, the How to Succeed podcast is brought to you by Sandler, the worldwide leader in sales management and customer service training with over 200 locations. For more information, visit Sandler.com. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click subscribe to get notified about future sales and leadership videos from Sandler.
The Sandler Summit returns in 2023. Each new event builds exponentially upon the energy and success of the prior year. The 2022 Sandler Summit event was a huge success for everyone who attended, so don't miss the next one. Buy your tickets to the Sandler Summit at sandler.com/summit.